You're not supposed to know this, and that's exactly why you're losing. While you're busy chasing positivity, balance, and good vibes, there are people quietly using the darkest truths about human nature to bend reality in their favor. You think life is about being fair, honest, and kind, but Machiavelli tried to warn you centuries ago. The world doesn't reward purity, it rewards strategy. Right now, someone is reading human weakness like a manual and using it to get what they want from you. And you don't even see it, because you were never meant to learn how the game really works. You were raised on a lie about how the world is supposed to work. They told you that if you're honest, kind, and hard-working, things will eventually fall into place. But Machiavelli's warning was simple and terrifying. The people in charge don't live by those rules, and they don't want you learning the ones they actually use. That's why you never hear this in school, in self-help books, or from your so-called role models. Because if you understood how power really operates, you'd stop being easy to control. You think leaders are chosen because they're good people. In reality, they're often the ones willing to make the cold decisions others are too scared to even think about. You think success comes from talent and patience. In reality, it's built on leverage, manipulation, and a precise understanding of human weakness. The darkest part? This isn't new. For centuries, rulers, CEOs, and influencers have followed a hidden playbook inspired by the exact truths Machiavelli wrote down, while the masses were fed fairy tales about morality and karma. In this video, I'm going to expose some of those darker principles, how they're used against you every single day, and how you can recognize them before they quietly shape your choices, your relationships, and your future. By the end, you won't see power, loyalty, or trust the same way again. Before we go any further, drop this in the comments as your first act of rebellion. I choose truth over comfort. Number 1. Understand the hidden rules of power. Here's what almost nobody will tell you out loud. Society pretends to run on kindness, fairness, and honesty, but it actually runs on perception, fear, and advantage. Machiavelli's real warning wasn't, be evil. It was, stop being naive. The public rules you were taught, work hard, be nice, don't rock the boat, wait your turn, are designed to keep most people predictable and controllable, while a small minority quietly play by a darker set of rules. They know that people respect strength more than goodness. They obey confidence more than competence, and they reward those who make them feel something, not those who always do the right thing. Think about your own life. Who gets listened to in your job, your family, your friend group, the quiet, reasonable one, or the person who speaks with certainty and acts like they belong in charge? Who gets promoted, the person who stays humble and polite, or the one who knows how to flatter, signal loyalty, and make powerful people feel important? Machiavelli understood that appearances are more important than reality, because most people never see the reality, they only see what you present. That's why he warned rulers to focus less on being truly virtuous and more on appearing effective, decisive, and strong. The same law applies to you, even if you're not a prince. Every environment you're in has an invisible hierarchy. Someone sets the tone, someone gets deference, someone gets ignored, and if you don't see it, that usually means you're near the bottom of it. If you keep following the polite rules while ignoring these darker dynamics, you're not being moral, you're being outplayed. If you don't decide how you want to be perceived, others will decide it for you, and they will do it based on their needs, not your truth. So stop assuming the world is judging you by your effort or your intentions. Start watching who actually gets power, influence, and loyalty, and study what they project, how they speak, how they move, and what they never show in public. Your first move toward real power isn't changing who you are on the inside. It's understanding that the game is being played on the outside, according to hidden rules you were never supposed to notice. Number 2. Practice strategic self-improvement, not feel-good self-help. Most people treat growth like a hobby. They read a book to feel inspired, go to the gym to feel disciplined, listen to a podcast to feel productive, and then wonder why nothing in their life actually changes. Machiavelli's silent warning to you is this: if your improvement doesn't increase your power, it's just entertainment. The people who quietly control outcomes don't work on themselves to feel better. They work on themselves to become more dangerous, more persuasive, and harder to manipulate. They pick skills that give them leverage, communication that can sway a room, emotional control that can't be baited, strategic thinking that sees traps before they're set. While everyone else is obsessing over morning routines and generic confidence, they're quietly sharpening the exact abilities that shift the balance of power in their favor. Ask yourself a brutal question. Does what you're working on make you stronger, smarter, or more influential, or just more comfortable with your current life? Machiavelli said, "A ruler must be both lion and fox, strong enough to face threats, cunning enough to avoid them." And that's exactly how you need to design your growth. Becoming physically stronger, it's not just about health. It's about the subtle authority that comes from carrying yourself like you're not easy to push around. Learning to stay calm under pressure, it's not just for inner peace. It's so no one can read you, rattle you, or predict your next move. Studying psychology, persuasion, or power dynamics, that's not overthinking. That's building a mental arsenal while everyone else keeps walking into the same traps. The dark truth is, your time and energy are limited, and the people who understand that are quietly outpacing you while you're distracted with shallow improvements. So stop collecting motivational quotes like trophies. Identify 3 specific skills that, if mastered, would dramatically increase your leverage in work, relationships, and conflict. Then pour your effort into those and ruthlessly cut the rest. You're not trying to become the nicest, calmest, or most well-rounded version of yourself. You're becoming the version that can't be easily controlled. Number 3. Build bulletproof self-esteem through dominance, not validation. Your confidence is being hacked every single day, and you don't even realize it. Social media is designed to make you measure yourself against carefully staged illusions. Your boss reminds you you're replaceable. Your family questions your choices, and the culture constantly whispers that you're never enough unless you buy more, achieve more, post more. So what do most people do? They run straight into the trap Machiavelli warned about. They become dependent on the approval of others. They chase likes, compliments, promotions, and reassurance, thinking, if enough people tell me I'm worthy, I'll finally feel strong. But that kind of self-esteem is a leash. The moment the praise stops, their confidence collapses. The moment someone disapproves, they spiral. Machiavelli understood a brutal truth. Whoever controls your fears and your need for approval controls you. That's why he told rulers it was safer to be feared than loved, because love and praise are fickle, but respect built on strength is harder to shake. For you, this doesn't mean you should become a tyrant. It means your self-worth has to be rooted in what you can control, your discipline, your actions, and your standards. Real confidence comes from dominance over your own life, not dominance over others. It comes from becoming the kind of person you can't easily disappoint. Every time you make a promise to yourself and keep it, you send a message to your brain. I am someone I can rely on. Every time you set a boundary and enforce it, even when people get upset, you prove that your values are not up for negotiation. Every time you pursue a goal, despite criticism or confusion from others, you strengthen the signal that your path is chosen by you, not voted on by the crowd. The dark truth they don't tell you is that building this kind of self-esteem will cost you. You will disappoint people. You will be called selfish, cold, or changed. Some will pull away because they can't manipulate you the way they used to. But that's the test. Do you want to feel liked, or do you want to feel unshakable? Stop begging the world to convince you that you're enough. Start building a track record of decisions, actions, and standards that make it impossible for you not to respect yourself. When your self-esteem is built on dominance over your own mind and behavior, no amount of silence, criticism, or rejection can take it away from you, and that's exactly the kind of inner power you were never supposed to discover. Number 4. Think 3 moves ahead, like a ruthless strategist. Most people stumble through life reacting to whatever hits them today. An email, a message, an opportunity, a crisis, like they're swatting flies. Machiavelli's warning was that this kind of short-sightedness makes you easy to use, easy to predict, and easy to discard. The real players don't ask, "What's happening right now?" They ask, "If I do this, then what? And after that, then what?" Every decision you make, who you date, what job you accept, what secret you share, what fight you pick, moves the entire board of your life. But because you've been trained to focus only on immediate emotions, how something feels today, you rarely see the trap that's 3 steps away. Imagine you're offered a great opportunity at work. Most people think, nice, more money, more status. A strategic thinker asks, who does this make me dependent on? Whose agenda am I now serving? If this succeeds, who gets more power, me or them? If it fails, who takes the blame? That's Machiavellian thinking, not evil, just brutally honest about consequences. The same applies to relationships. You might ignore red flags because things are good right now, but a strategist looks at patterns and asks, if this continues for a year, who will I become? Stronger or weaker? Freer or more trapped? Machiavelli said that wise people do early what fools are forced to do later, and that's the dark core of strategic thinking. You make the hard choice now, before life makes a worse choice for you later. This doesn't mean living in paranoia, it means refusing to be blind. Before you make any serious move, run a simple mental drill. If I say yes to this, what does it lead to in 3 steps? What does it cost me in options, autonomy, and leverage? Who quietly benefits the most? Most people never ask those questions, and that's why they keep ending up in the same painful situations and calling it bad luck. It's not luck. It's a lack of strategy. You were never supposed to think like this, because once you do, you stop being a pawn that just reacts and start becoming a player who plans. From today on, make a rule with yourself. No major decision without thinking 3 moves ahead. The moment you start anticipating outcomes, instead of just feeling your way through the present, you step into the dark, unsentimental clarity Machiavelli tried to hand you, and that those in power hoped you'd never actually use. Number 5. Build unbreakable inner strength in private, before the world tests you in public. Most people think strength is about being loud, aggressive, or unbothered, but that's just a costume. It falls apart the moment life punches them in the mouth. Machiavelli's warning was that the world belongs to those whose foundations cannot be easily shaken. And that kind of strength isn't built on motivational quotes. It's built on scars. Most people are stable only when everything is going their way. Money coming in, relationships smooth, no unexpected problems, and they mistake that comfort for resilience. Then something collapses. They lose a job, a relationship ends, a plan fails, and their entire identity crumbles with it. The dark truth is that life is constantly looking for weak spots in you, and power flows to the person who can stay composed while everyone else is panicking. Machiavelli understood that a ruler's real power came from the durability of his state, his internal and external foundations, not from temporary good fortune. For you, that means you're real. Strength isn't what you show on Instagram, it's what you do when nobody's watching and nothing is forcing you. Do you avoid discomfort at every turn, or do you deliberately walk into it in controlled ways? Cold showers, tough workouts, difficult conversations, risky but necessary decisions, just to prove to yourself that you can handle friction? Do you numb out every time you're stressed, or do you sit with the discomfort long enough to actually solve the problem? Every time you face something you're afraid of and survive, your nervous system learns, we can do hard things and not die. Every time you take responsibility instead of making excuses, you reinforce, I am not at the mercy of circumstances. Every time you choose the harder, more honest path over the easy, comfortable lie, you harden your core a little more. The reason this kind of strength is dangerous and why you're not encouraged to build it is because once you have it, you're very hard to control. Threats don't move you as much. Guilt doesn't work as well. Social pressure loses its grip. You stop needing constant reassurance and start operating from a quiet, stubborn certainty that you can handle whatever comes. That's Machiavellian resilience, not cruelty, but an unbreakable center. So stop chasing a life with no problems and start training yourself to be the kind of person who cannot be broken by them. The world will still test you, but when it does, you'll finally understand why those in power invest so much in inner strength and so little in comfort. Number 6. Master psychological dominance without ever raising your voice. When people hear the word dominance, they think of shouting, bullying, or physical intimidation, but that's amateur stuff, and Machiavelli would have laughed at it. The real power, the kind you were never meant to notice, is quiet. It's the person in the room who rarely says much, but when they do, everyone listens. It's the person who doesn't chase approval, doesn't rush to explain themselves, and never looks rattled, even when everything is on fire. Most people think influence comes from talking more, showing more, proving more. In reality, the person who appears the most self-possessed, grounded, and emotionally in control slowly becomes the psychological center of gravity. Machiavelli understood that men willingly believe what they wish to believe, and that's the dark secret. People want to believe that the calm, certain, composed person knows what they're doing, so they project strength onto them, even if that person never brags, never flexes, never argues. You don't need to dominate people. You need to dominate yourself so completely that others feel smaller acting against you. That starts with your presence. Stand like you belong, move slowly, breathe deeply, make eye contact without staring like a maniac. When you speak, strip away the nervous fillers, sorry, I just think, and state your thoughts like they're allowed to exist. When someone challenges you, don't rush into defensiveness. Pause, let their words hang in the air, and then respond clearly and briefly. When someone disrespects you, you don't explode. You set a boundary and then slowly remove access to your time, your energy, your attention. No drama, just consequences. Over time, people learn a simple rule. Crossing you costs them something. That is psychological dominance. You become the person whose approval feels valuable, whose disapproval feels heavy, not because you scream, but because your standards are real and your reactions are controlled. The reason you're not taught this is because once you master it, you're incredibly difficult to manipulate. Guilt, pressure, emotional blackmail, they all lose power when you're calm and unfazed. So from now on, stop trying to win by arguing louder, explaining harder, or proving your worth. Start winning by becoming the most composed, least reactive, and most self-respecting person in every situation. In a world addicted to noise and emotional chaos, that level of controlled presence is terrifying and Machiavelli level powerful. Number 7. Cultivate magnetic confidence that quietly pulls power toward you. Most people think confidence is about hyping yourself up, shouting affirmations, and pretending you're sure even when you're shaking inside. But that's just costume confidence, and everyone can feel the cracks. Machiavelli's darker warning is that if your confidence isn't backed by proof, it's just delusion waiting to be exposed. The powerful don't walk around screaming, "I believe in myself." They move like people who already know they can deliver. And that difference is everything. Defensive confidence begs the world, "Please believe I can do this." Magnetic confidence tells the world, "Here's how this is going to happen," and then calmly follows through. One type is always trying to convince people. The other makes people want to convince themselves. How do you build that? Not by repeating empty phrases, but by stacking undeniable evidence. Every time you set a goal and hit it, every time you solve a problem instead of avoiding it, every time you face something uncomfortable and come out stronger, you are quietly building a case file in your brain. "I've done this before. I can do it again." Over time, that file becomes heavier than your fear. Machiavelli said that the intelligence of a ruler can be judged by the people around him. And here's the twisted part. Truly confident people attract other capable, driven individuals because strength recognizes strength. When you project grounded certainty instead of insecurity, people with resources, ideas, and influence naturally want to be on your side. They see you as a good investment. That's why fake confidence, loud, needy, showy, repels power, while calm, earned confidence pulls it in. The last layer of magnetic confidence is being unafraid to say, "I don't know, but I'll find out." Weak people pretend, strong people adapt. When you're not threatened by gaps in your knowledge, you stop shrinking from challenges that could expose you and start using them to grow. From the outside, this looks almost unfair. You say less, you sell yourself less, and yet people trust you more. That's the dark mechanic Machiavelli understood. You don't dominate by screaming your greatness. You dominate by becoming so competent, so consistent, and so composed that others feel safer betting on you than on themselves. Number 8. Use strategic silence as your most unsettling weapon. In a world that worships noise, you were never supposed to realize how terrifying your silence can actually be. Most people believe influence comes from talking more, explaining more, sharing more, but Machiavelli's warning hides in the opposite direction. The more you reveal, the more control you give away. The powerful have always understood that information is ammunition, and the person who speaks less, reveals less, and reacts less is the one who quietly dictates the terms. Think about how you normally behave when you're nervous or under pressure. You rush to fill the silence, over-explain your decisions, spill your plans, and try to make everyone understand your side. You think you're protecting yourself, but all you're really doing is giving people a detailed map of your fears, your buttons, and your intentions. That's exactly what manipulators want. Machiavelli would tell you that a wise ruler never shows his whole hand, never explains more than necessary, and never lets enemies read his true emotions. You're not a medieval prince, but the same dark rule applies in your daily life. In an argument, the person who stays calm and quiet while the other gets emotional automatically looks stronger and more in control. In a negotiation, the person who doesn't rush to fill the awkward silence after an offer is made forces the other side to second-guess themselves and often concede more. When someone asks you a probing question you don't want to answer, a simple pause, a small smile, and a vague response can reveal nothing while they start talking themselves into discomfort. Strategic silence also means keeping your long-term moves to yourself. Don't announce your goals to people who secretly hope you fail. Don't explain your every decision to those who haven't earned the right to understand your strategy. Move in quiet and let results show up loud. The dark truth is that the less predictable you are, the harder you are to manipulate, and that unsettles people who rely on your transparency to control you. That's why you're encouraged to be open, overshare, and speak your truth to everyone all the time, because a completely transparent person is easy to exploit. From now on, start treating your words like currency. Spend them where they bring value, hold them back where they expose you, and remember this: every time you choose silence over a defensive explanation, you're stepping closer to the kind of cold, contained power Machiavelli tried to warn you about, the kind they hoped you'd never be disciplined enough to use. You now know some of the truths you were never supposed to see, the dark insights Machiavelli tried to hand you, while the rest of the world kept feeding you comforting lies. Society isn't fair, but it is predictable. People don't respond to logic, purity, or good intentions. They respond to strength, certainty, and strategy. Power itself isn't evil, it's neutral. In the hands of the naive, it gets abused against them. In the hands of someone awake, it becomes protection and freedom. These 8 principles aren't about turning you into a villain. They're about stripping away the illusion that playing nice, staying transparent, and hoping for the best will somehow keep you safe. They won't. What will change your life is choosing to stop sleepwalking through power dynamics and start using them consciously. Here's your challenge. Don't try to implement everything at once. Pick one dark principle from this video: strategic thinking, silence, self-mastery, perception, whatever hit you the hardest, and deliberately apply it this week. Not someday, not when you're ready, but now. Because information without action doesn't make you powerful, it just makes you an informed victim. If this opened your eyes to how deeply Machiavelli's warning still applies, hit that like button, subscribe for more unfiltered breakdowns of power and human nature, and tell me in the comments which principle you're going to test first. Remember, the game of power is already in motion, whether you believe in it or not. You can stay naive and be shaped by it, or you can get strategic and start shaping it yourself. The only real question is whether you're going to move like a player or keep living like a pawn who was never meant to read the playbook.